I see it.
Yep. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Donna, and we're here for our virtual book tour, Stop 7, our last stop on the tour. I can't believe it. It has been such a fun week celebrating the launch of my newest book, Unleash the Wise Leader in You, A Woman's Guide to Leadership. And I'm so grateful for all the amazing women that have blessed me with their time and sharing their wise leadership with everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a psychologist, executive coach, speaker, and author. And this is my third and fourth book because there's also a workbook that goes with it. And this book has special meaning to me because I released it in honor of my sister, and it's really to help women everywhere up their game, feel more comfortable in their own skin, and really show up as the leaders that they are in the world. And tonight I am so excited because I am joined by my dear friend and favorite photographer, Bari Baskin.
That's always fun to hear. Hi.
Yeah. So when you look at my professional photos and go to my website and go, those photos are amazing, that is all Bari. And her business is Time Stops Photography. And she is also just an amazing mother of some very talented kids, and also a ninja warrior herself.
Maybe. Want to be, right?
Yeah.
And I would also like to say the photography is not all me. It is definitely a joint effort between myself and the person who's being photographed. So I appreciate the compliment, but I can't do what I do without you guys playing along. So.
Well, you're very sweet. I, like most people, don't usually care for photos of myself. And for the first time ever, this is going to sound vain, but I couldn't stop looking. They were just so...
That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy.
And Isabel's bat mitzvah, too. Those, it's so hard to pick which ones you want because they're all...
That's the better problem to have than the other way around, I always say.
Yes, yeah. For sure.
Yes. So thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to be asked and honored, and this is so exciting. I'm so proud of you and excited for your book launch tomorrow, right around the corner. Your party's tomorrow. I mean, your book is launched, but yes. So.
Yeah. So the virtual party is tomorrow for all of you who bought a book. We're going to celebrate together. Awesome. Isabel's helping me plan that, so it's going to be good because she's involved, of course. And I really wanted you to come on, Bari, because there's so much that I admire about your leadership, whether it's your activism, your photography, just your heart for your kids and supporting them and the amazing things they do. Thanks. And I just thought you were the perfect wise leader to cap off our tour with.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm excited. As I was reading through your book, there's a lot of great stuff that resonated with me in there. And things that I can definitely see that I have learned more so probably in the past decade of my life. So thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Tell me a little bit about what you found that resonated with you.
A lot of it, I think, is about self-confidence and not being afraid of your voice, and just finding your purpose. You talk a lot about your why, and my why, I think, one of the things that I always say is that I don't know that there's any better gift you can give yourself than a photograph that makes you feel good about yourself, because I think that feeling ripples out into the other things that you do in your life. And I really do believe that everybody is beautiful through my lens. I know that sounds kind of trite and cheesy, but it's true. And when somebody trusts me enough to show me who they are, I mean, it's my version of a high when I'm looking through my lens and the light hits right, or I get a real smile, or somebody just relaxes and it's like, oh, there you are. And so I suppose this is the appropriate place to say this. I actually don't mind having my picture taken because I think there's always a chance of getting that photo of myself too that makes me feel good. When you look at it, you think, oh my God, that's what I look like. I feel really good. And I want to clarify that I don't mean it's all about looks, because I think that a true good photograph tells you more about who the person is, and you can see it in their eyes and you get a sense of who they are, not just a pretty picture where somebody smiled, and, you know, kind of get the essence of the person. And that's really motivating. That's super exciting for me. And when I'm excited to show somebody else what I've captured of them, and then it makes them feel good about themselves, I think that just all kind of comes together.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the photos that you captured, whether it was our branding shoot or the bat mitzvah, the ones where you see yourself, or, you know, the one of Isabel laughing in black, you know, with the black and white, and her, like, it just being her. And
that's what I love.
yeah. Yeah.
When it looks like I'm not there, actually, like I'm just a fly on the wall. Photography is a terrible name for a for a business, but I've thought more than once, like, that would be kind of appropriate, because that's also what I like to do. I like to tell people to ignore me and pretend I'm not there, outside of the, you know, everybody always wants a shot where we're all looking and we all are smiling at the camera. But other than that, I just kind of want to capture life as it is. And then people can use those photographs like you have for your branding. I do, you know, headshots for realtors. I photograph theater. My son is currently using a lot of the photographs that I've taken for his theater company that he started at the ripe old, well, he's 16 now, but kind of started that 2 years ago. And so they're using that to launch their platform, and just being able to use photography to help other people achieve their goals is what is super motivating to me. That what I do, it's not just taking pretty pictures, but it has a purpose in helping other people accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I want to share with everyone that Bari has 16-year-old twins.
I do.
And her son, Peyton, is into theater, has started his own theater company. And her daughter, Maggie, is a competitive American Ninja Warrior. And tell me about what wise leadership looks like as a parent with two such successful children.
I think it looks like paying attention to who the kids are and having them take the lead, and then finding opportunities for them to be able to explore and follow those passions. I've often had people ask me, like, how did you get Peyton to the theater? He's actually done 6 professional shows, and his first one was at age 10. And my cousin and I joke, when he was 3, she was here and she's like, why don't we just send him to Broadway right now? Because he just had that personality that, I'm going to put on a show for you. I'm so confident. Thank you for coming. We've got a great show for you tonight. And it just cracked me up. And he did that from being a teeny tiny person. And so it was pretty clear to both my husband and I from the get-go, like, that's who this kid is. And for Maggie, when I would take her to the playground, she would climb up the poles of the swings. She wouldn't actually swing on the swings. So I'm thankful, though, she did not climb things like closets and dressers in our house. I never had that problem. But the only thing at the time that we knew was gymnastics. So we put her in gymnastics, and she liked it well enough. She didn't love it, though. She never wanted to go to the back of the gym where the girls were competing. That was terrifying to her. And then we stumbled upon, my husband bid on a silent auction package for a local rock climbing gym, and we took her, and she flew up the walls, and Kevin noticed that there was a rock climbing team, and he said, do you want to do this? And she was like, sure. So I said, finish out gymnastics. And then we switched over. And during that time, I think it's when we became aware of American Ninja Warrior. And I had Peyton downtown for a theater rehearsal, or he was performing at Mercury Theater. And I took her to the Ninja Gym, and she did really well. And so, without going into all the minute details of what happened, she eventually transitioned to Ninja, and it just fits her so well. So I'm very thankful that they both have things that they have found that they're passionate about, that they are not in direct competition with one another. That's really part of the thing, but just honestly supporting them in their vision and not trying to pigeonhole them into, I wanted my daughter to do this and my son to do this. And because that doesn't do any good. And I think that's one of the reasons that they flourished so well, is because we have followed their lead and not forced them down a particular path.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds like from a very young age, you were kind of allowing them those principles of wise leadership to find their own voice and act on it, and to, to find their why and find their passion. And
Right.
because of that, they're really growing up as wise leaders instead of having to unleash it later, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's been fun and rewarding, and I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful that they've both found a passion. And I think it's pretty clear that Peyton is going to go into theater, and he loves to direct. So that's been another fun layer. Not sure how the ninja is going to play out for Maggie, but I think it's giving her a lot of skills that she can lean on, and who knows, maybe she'll end up opening a gym. Hopefully she'll be on the big show next year. So, which should open some doors, and it's also going to give them great essay material for college applications. So it all just kind of, adds on.
Yeah. Well, I know you and I share a history of being in the dance world at a young age and for a long time.
Yes.
And I think, even if that's not what your career is later, it teaches you so much about discipline and creativity and perseverance and all these skills that no matter what you do later in life, those skills are with you, right?
100%. Yes. Yeah, there's a thing that goes on around Facebook every once in a while, and a mom says, my friends ask me why I pay so much for dance lessons. And her response is, I don't pay for dance lessons. I pay for my daughter to learn self-confidence. I pay for my daughter to learn how to work within a group. And it's all the life lessons like you're talking about that really is what you're getting out of it. And as opposed to everybody that takes dance as a little girl has to be a professional dancer. That's not the case.
Yes. Yeah. There are so many other character traits and skills that it teaches you.
Grace, though, see me outside of a dance studio and I'm not always the most graceful person on the planet.
I'm the same way. Sometimes as I'm tripping over my own feet, I'm like,
or nothing. Yes. Yes, I'm good at tripping over nothing. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Right. So did you have a favorite chapter in Unleash the Wise Leader?
I don't know if I had a favorite chapter per se, but I wanted to tie this in for you because I read a segment and then I immediately thought, oh my gosh, there's this amazing quote and I should go find it. And I read a little bit further and there it was. You had laid out the whole Marianne Williamson quote for me about who are you to be great? In fact, who are you not to be great? Mm-hmm. And I actually think I saw that quote or learned about it the first time in a movie, which I think is Akilah and the Spelling Bee, perhaps might be the movie. I don't know.
I know I've seen it and it's a fantastic movie, but I don't remember if it's in there or not. I'll have to check.
It's something like that. I feel like it might be, but anyway, I think that we tend to shy away from being great or shy away from trying to shine. And I don't know that that serves any purpose for anybody. I think I love that idea of it's your duty to be great. It's your duty to find what you're good at and contribute to the world. And so I really, really loved that part. I loved that it was right there. I didn't even have to go looking for it. It was right there in your book. Yes. Yes.
That is so great. I love that you thought of it and then it was there.
Voila! Yay! Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect.
That is without a doubt my my favorite poem. It speaks to my heart every time. And I think it encourages us to be bold. And I don't believe that we're here on earth just to go through the motions and just to do what everybody else does or to be in a job that we hate or
Right.
any of that. And I really believe that that we're all born with, you know, our passions and our gifts, because we're supposed to use those things for ourselves and for others. Like the poem says, you know, basically when we shine, we give other people permission to shine.
Yep.
And I think when people are struggling and wanting to know what their life's purpose is, if they really just look inward, look at themselves and think like, what if I could spend all day every day doing and didn't even get paid, what would I do?
Right.
That's when you start unlocking your purpose.
And I'm so thankful that I know what mine is, and I'm thankful that my kids have found theirs, because I know that there are people that are still looking. And I do think on occasion, wow, I am so lucky that I figured this out when I did. And your point about when you shine, everybody else shines. It's like the quote, "A rising tide lifts all boats."
Yeah.
You know, all of us doing good. And I've worked with not very many people, because not many people are good at this. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, but my point is, really great leaders, I think, know to surround themselves with people that are better than they are, because that improves everybody. And it takes a special kind of person, and not everybody's ego can handle that. But I think that's another example of, you know, you shine, surround yourself with wonderful people, and everybody gets better together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think of that quote a lot about the rising tide lifting all boats. When I was writing the chapter on lifting each other up,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that it's like, you know, women have this reputation, right or wrong, stereotype or not, of, you know, being catty, being gossipy, stabbing in the back, you know, cat fight, all these phrases and everything. And it doesn't have to be that way at all. And I truly believe that every time we see a woman win, every time we see another woman CEO, when we see a woman vice presidential candidate, like doors are opening. And when these people win, we win too. It elevates all of us. And
Absolutely.
I think when you see two groups pitted against each other, or two people pitted against each other, neither side is winning, you know, in that divisiveness, in that arguing. And you have to lift your head up and look around you and see who benefits from this, who benefits from us not getting along. And isn't it better to join together to get along and let us benefit?
100%. You know, definitely had a growth process for myself over 10 years, and different times when I was more worried about what other people were doing, or what other people thought of what I was doing. And I'm in some pretty great groups, and we constantly talk about community over competition. And so whether or not I know these people personally, I've had some really great examples that I've seen online, and other photographers that I've talked to, which has kind of led me down a path of, let's work together. You know, my job is ironically kind of solitary, except when I'm photographing somebody. I work by myself. I don't have a team. And so I have sought out other photographers as kind of colleagues. And I have really yet, I think, to come into contact with somebody who didn't want that camaraderie. And I'm thankful for that, because I need to bounce ideas off people. I need to get ideas on how to respond to this or that, or what would you do? Or can we brainstorm through pricing? Or I'm going to do mini sessions. How do you think this should work? And I'm thankful for the other photographers that are in my life. And we refer each other out. Like, I don't shoot weddings, so I will refer other people to weddings. People will refer me for bat mitzvahs, and or headshots. And now that I'm at the point in my business where I feel very comfortable about what I am good at and what I don't want to do, my skin has gotten thicker. My feelings don't get hurt when I think, why didn't somebody choose me? Because there is more than enough work to go around for all of us. And I have a photographer friend who you've probably seen the photographs of Maggie and the amazing ninja shot.
Yeah.
Not mine. They are Katie Zimmerman's. And I think she was a little apprehensive at first. And if Katie's listening at some point, sorry, Katie, if I'm wrong. But she was a little, I think she was surprised at how open I was and how I wanted to sit and talk and share ideas. And it's been a great friendship. And so, I've learned that, and I've exampled that. Is that a verb? Exampled that for other people. I don't know. I said it, so now it's a word. And I think that goes outward, and what you give, you get back, and it is a two-way street. And so the more talented, proper business owning photographers that value themselves and value their worth, the better it is for the entire industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if anybody needs like sports photos, action shots, Katie is
amazing.
amazing. Yeah. The photos of Maggie doing her ninja stuff are just like, whoa.
And I am more than happy. Like, I am at the point where I literally can say, I am not good at that. I don't even want to try it. Like, I watch Katie do her thing and she's amazing. So please go to Katie. Like, I don't think, oh, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should have that business. Nope. I'm good. I'm good with what I do. And I want to support my other photographer friends and what they do, because I want all of us to be successful.
Yeah. And it was actually another photographer who referred me to you. So
that's right. Yes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Lindsay is fabulous as well. She does amazing family photography, and she volunteers for Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep when parents have had a stillborn birth, which is, it takes a special kind of person to be able to do that. And I will tell you, when Lindsay connected you and I up, she just kept saying, I can't tell you how great you two are going to fit together. So, she was right. She was right. And it's that spirit of like, I know that somebody else is going to be better for this person. And I'm so thankful that she connected you and I for all the things that have happened. But yeah, I mean, if I get weddings or I get newborn requests, I'll pass her name along, because that's her bailiwick.
Yeah. And that's great. I think, you hit on another one of the chapters in Unleash the Wise Leader, and that's the chapter on scarcity and abundance and having a lack mindset. And that's where, that's where that infighting comes from. That's where that idea of just like not having enough, and, whether it's time or money or whatever, and you start to play smaller because you're in this lack, right? And
right.
lack is like constrictive, where abundance is so expansive.
Yes.
And when you go through life with this lack mindset, it changes the way you interact with people. Mm-hmm. It changes, like, good leaders can't come from a place of lack. They have to really think about what's possible, not what's not possible.
Yeah. I mean, we've all taken leaps that are very scary, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And I've had some hard lessons. I've had some mistakes on my website, and I have just had to take a deep breath and say, all right, suck it up. That was a lesson you've learned, fix it and move forward. Mm-hmm. Because what else are you going to do? And then that just hopefully makes me better moving forward. Yeah. So gathering all that knowledge.
Absolutely. And I mean, you can't have your own business and not be taking risks. Like, it's just not, once you commit to a business, it's like, right.
Yeah. And that's part of what makes it fun and exhilarating.
Yeah. And it's your own, you step into leadership the moment you make that decision. And I know for myself, being a female business owner, I feel like has contributed so much to my girls' worldview, because I have 2 daughters, and having them be able to see like what's possible for them, and to be in charge, and to, they see me speaking at events and writing books and all of these different things. And I think it just opens so many doors for them to have that abundance mindset and to live in the world of possibility.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. And that's why when women pick up this book, I really, I know that niching is is ideal, and I do niche in my coaching business, and this book is, it's for women and it's for leadership ambitions, but it's really honestly, for any woman. I didn't want a woman to pick it up and think, well, I'm not a CEO or I'm not an entrepreneur. And that's why I think it's important to talk about what does it look like at home as a parent, which is to me the most important job in the world. And then, looking at it in all these different ways in your community, like the service that Lindsay is doing and volunteering, like that's amazing. Like you said, it takes a very special person to be able to do that.
It does.
And then even how our ambitions can expand all the way out into the world.
Yes. Well, and to your point about not just for CEOs and women high up, and I mean a lot of the things that I read in the book, I think it's just about being a strong person, about having self-confidence, which gives you the courage to try new things, which gives you the courage to put yourself out there in what you really believe. I will say that if I had started this business in my mid-20s, it would have been very, very different. I think getting older, especially turning 40, which I found actually pretty liberating. I would like to say to anybody out there who is right on the cusp, that I think each decade honestly has just gotten better. I stopped worrying so much about what other people thought, and I worried more about what I thought and the people that I care about, what they think. So yes, it doesn't just have to be somebody in a big position. It's just about being a woman and not apologizing for that, not apologizing for the things that we say, not apologizing for having a strong opinion. That's not a flaw. It's a good thing. And we can do all that stuff kindly and gently and in a way that brings people together. It doesn't have to be aggressive and negative. And I think when you get to the point where you are confident in your ideas and your beliefs, and then that's what you put out there and people know what to expect from you. And it's not as scary. It takes a while to get there, but it's not as scary. And I've realized just in terms of my own business, this has been one of my hardest lessons. If I don't stand up for myself, nobody's going to do it for me. And I have said that to other photographers on multiple occasions. And the challenging clients that I've had, I am happy to say, are extremely few and extremely far between. But I have had them, and it has tested me and pushed me and put me in uncomfortable situations where I thought, I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror tomorrow and nobody's going to come to my rescue. And that's a huge growth thing too. And when you demand in a good way to be respected, that's what you get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that a long tangent that had nothing to do with what we were just talking about?
It was great. We train people how to treat us.
100%. Yes.
Yep. And it's our actions, our responses that let them know that they can get away with their behavior or that it's acceptable. And sometimes that's a really hard thing for people to admit. It's taking that ownership, like, oh, I'm a part of this situation, that it's not just the other person. But there's something really empowering about that when we do take ownership, and we, if it's just up to the other person, then you have no control. But when you recognize that you have a part in it, it also takes back your power and your control.
Well, and you had said right before I went off onto my long tangent about parenting and how that applies to parenting. And from the earlier days, I have told my kids, if I've gotten frustrated, I remember saying, like, when does mommy yell? When they were little, and they're like, well, when you don't listen. Yes, when you don't listen. So if you listen, I'm not going to yell. And, we've had conversations over the years where I said, listen, you've taught me what to expect from you. I know the things that you're going to do, and I know the things that you're not going to do, and I have to tell you multiple times to do that. And obviously that goes both ways, but yes, people show us who they are. People show us what to expect from them, and we respond accordingly. So that goes, again, both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you said, like, if you don't speak up for yourself, no one else is going to.
When you own your own business, right? Yes.
Yeah. you know, in that first chapter, Claim Your Leadership, I say, like, if you're waiting for someone to hand you like that certificate that says you're a leader now,
No.
give you permission, that does not happen. And it's actually when you decide internally that you are a leader, you'll start to act like a leader and behave, you know, feel like a leader, behave like a leader, think like a leader, and then people will see you as a leader. But it's, if we don't embody it, if we don't believe it, nobody else is going to.
Right. And I think another really key component of that is authenticity.
Yes.
And I see that when somebody's authentic with me in front of the lens, I see that. When somebody's just interacting with me on a normal basis, I see that. And I know if I'm trying to do something, if I don't really feel it, if I don't really believe it, then it's not authentic. And then people don't trust that either. So you have to really, I think, know who you are. You have to be authentic, and people like authenticity. And I think that's a lot of what they follow as well.
I agree. I agree. And I think there's been a real like authenticity movement. You know, I
Yes.
think that there was a time where there was just more of a showmanship and things like that, whether it was even our, you know, our entertainment or anything. Like then we got into reality shows, and now it's Instagram feeds and all
Yes.
things. But it's, I think it's really a movement of saying like, I want to know real people.
Hmm.
And I think, you know, when you're in a business, you're really, no matter what your service is, when you're in a service-based industry, you're selling yourself. You know,
100%. Yep.
it's like people have to like you, they have to know, like, and trust you.
Yes.
And I think with all leaders, you know, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a mom, right? Your kids have to know, like, and trust you, right?
Right. Most of the time anyway, right?
Right? I mean, they don't have to like everything you say, but it's like you got to build that respect and
Yes.
trust with people. And as you said, I think authenticity is what builds trust.
Hmm. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of photographers out there. I'm not special. I have my own vision, but there's a lot of people that do headshots. There's a lot of people that do family photography. There's a lot of people that photograph events. So to your point, it's really, it's me that I'm selling. It's the experience of having a photo shoot with me. And that doesn't mean everybody else's experience with somebody else will be bad, but that's really what I bring to the table, along with the skills and knowing how to use my camera and capture what we need to capture. But yes, I love to build relationships and rapport with my clients, because the only way I'm going to get the images that I want to get for you is if you trust me and you show me who you are during that process. And I always say to people, like, you know, if you're looking at me like this, that's not a real smile. And I'm going to call you out on it. And I also know that when
Bill.
I do. Because I know that I can see it through my camera, and I know you're going to see that photo and you're going to be like, I don't like that. It doesn't feel like me. I don't look really happy. So I'll do something dorky and hopefully make you laugh and then get what I want for you. Yeah, authenticity is such a key word. And I keep that in mind whenever I'm posting on social media, whether or not it's business or personal, actually probably even more so for personal. Because that's just important to me, that it's not, you know, that it's real. That it's very real.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's, you know, it's the same with coaching. It's an intimate relationship. I think photography is an intimate relationship too.
For sure.
Really capture someone's essence like that. And with coaching, even though for myself it's executive coaching, we work on careers, we work on leadership. It doesn't mean that your personal stuff never comes into it. How do you, you know, whatever's going on inside affects what's going on outside.
Yes.
And, you know, why someone would choose me over another executive coach, we have to have that rapport. You know, something my clients always say, like, you're so non-judgmental. Like, I can tell you anything because there's never a like, right? You know, and they always say, like, I don't it's kind of funny. I don't feel like I pay you because I feel like, I feel like just the way, I don't know, like it's not, it's a friendship, it's a family ship, it's a,
It doesn't feel like work. It just feels natural. It just
yeah,
feels easy.
yeah, it feels easy, it's fun. Um, and I just love, like, I love my clients. Like, I know, like, it's like, I'm not supposed to say that, but like, when I take on a client, like, I said to someone, like, I take them under my wing. Like, those are my people, and I look out for them. I take care of them. I am there for them. And that is just so fulfilling for me.
I hear you. I photograph a bunch of senior boys, and boys are not always they're not super excited about it generally. Or they're a little more apprehensive, or mom has said, listen, you're doing this because this is a big point in your life and I
Yeah.
get to make that decision. There is nothing more rewarding for me than getting to the end of a session and having any of my clients, but I brought up the boys first,
Yeah.
um, saying, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. And I've had some boys that really love the camera and we could shoot for 4 hours. And then other boys who are like, okay, I'm going to do this for my mom, but we have fun. And I had a mom just message me the other night. We had a session and she said, my son just asked me when the gallery is going to be done. And it was way more fun than he was expecting it to be. And there are few things that make me happier than
Yeah.
that it was a good time, because I really, really, really want everybody to enjoy the process. I love what I do. And so everybody else should have fun while we're doing it as well, which is my opinion. And that can be challenging because women are so self-critical. And we see a photograph and we go right to the thing that we think is our flaw. And I
Mhm.
really encourage people, like, look at the feeling of it. Look at the laughter in your face. Look at the emotion of the moment. Look at what you're wanting to convey, rather than the fact that you don't like the way that your cheek goes right here, because that's what we do. But
Yeah.
that's not what the photograph's conveying. And nobody's going to see it the same way that we are. Um,
Yeah.
One of my most recent sessions, I had the senior, it was a boy, and I had him walk down the street and he was like, that was so awkward. And I was like, but at least it was at the end. And if the photos aren't good, you won't see any of them. And maybe there's something there that's amazing. But honestly, then I was like, oh God, did I just ruin the feeling for the whole session because I made him do something that he didn't want to do? And I said to the mom, is that all he's going to remember? She's like, not even a little bit. And then I got the text later on saying, that was way more fun than he expected it to be. So I realized, like, I want, it's not just about getting good photos. It's about the entire process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that, because if I have a session with a client and everything goes wrong and they're miserable, or the weather's terrible, those photographs, even if they look good, that there's always an emotional connection to the photographs.
Yeah.
What was happening at the time they were taking. And let me say that pretty much never happens. But it is about the whole process, because you have to remember how you felt when the photos were taken. You cannot divorce those two things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, we took photos outside in the cold in January and they still looked great and we still had fun.
And I told you that you were pretending it was tropical outside. I'm sure that I said that to you. And yeah,
Right.
that first photo on your website of you walking, it was ridiculously cold, and you would never know. And you did so great.
I know. Those photos, you would never know how cold it was out.
But we were brave. We did it. We got it done.
We did. And I know I told you that the last time I had done headshots before working with you, I actually cried during that.
Oh, and that made me so sad. I know.
So it was a completely different experience and a wonderful
Thank
one.
heavens. Or I don't think I'd be on this Zoom with you right now.
Right?
Right. Totally.
You know, the last thing I want to talk about a little bit is I really see you as an activist in a lot of ways. And I know, some of it is with your work with women, with your photography, and I forget the name of the project. I apologize.
You Are Beautiful. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, my You Are Beautiful sessions, which have been put on pause, thanks COVID. Go ahead.
Right. But I'd like to talk a little bit about wise leadership and activism, and and what that means for you.
Okay. Um, so since you brought up the project, since you brought up the You Are Beautiful project, that comes out of, I think, probably what I said at the beginning, that I really believe everybody is beautiful through my lens. And the people, so I put it out there. I wrote a whole blog post about how critical women are of themselves. And I put it out there, and I was hoping to get submissions for people that are not always taking pictures of themselves, for people that may not, in fact, think that they're beautiful, and they really are. And I wanted a wide variety of women, and I got that. And I think I've only done 4 sessions so far. I have 2 or 3 more kind of in the hopper for whenever we can get going again on that. And I just love what I do, and I love capturing those moments. And I just want to give that gift to other women to help them see themselves how other people see them. And the best way I know how to do that is with my camera. So, I mean, I went through a lot of iterations of how do I do this, and do I make it a session, and do I just do it as a project? And I just wanted women to be relaxed and enjoy the process and just see themselves in a different light. And I think so far we've accomplished that. I mean, it's been really fun and really rewarding. And I'm hoping to get back to it at some point. So I don't know that I would have thought about that as activism, but I understand your point, because I want to lift women up. I want everybody to feel that they're beautiful. I want everybody to feel that they're worthy and that no one is less than. And to show the world who they are, because we all have gifts to give. And standards of beauty, I don't know. I think sometimes they've probably gotten a little out of control. And what's beautiful to me is somebody's laughter, and somebody's essence, and somebody's authenticity, and the sparkle in their eyes when they give you a real smile, and seeing them settle into their bodies and be comfortable. That's what's beautiful to me, rather than a traditional definition of what somebody finds beautiful in a magazine. And as we all know, even the girls in the magazines don't look like the girls in the magazines. And I also want to give that back to women, because as I've gotten older, I've had more conversations with myself about what I see. And I've said, I'm not supposed to be 25 anymore. I'm not supposed to look like I'm 25. I have brought 2 humans into the world, and I don't have a flat stomach anymore. And that's okay. And then you and I have been going to UltraFit, and that it's more about getting stronger. And it's not about getting skinnier. It's about getting stronger. So now when I wake up in the morning and I'm going to the gym, I think, ooh, today I get to go get stronger. I intentionally don't think, oh, I have to go work out. And it is a whole different set of motivation. So I want everybody to feel beautiful, but from the inside, not just down the outside, because that goes back to what I was saying about the whole process and what you associate when the photos were taken. So I've said, where do you want to do this? And my first one, her favorite place is in her living room playing her piano. So that's what we did. That's her happy place. I want to photograph women in their happy place.
And you donate these sessions?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've done 4. I was trying to think about a donation element to it, but instead I just decided to make it a creative project for my creative juices and to give back to the women that I know.
And how do the women, how do you get connected with these women? Do they self-nominate? Does somebody else nominate them? How does that work?
I did a big long blog post one day, and it was, I think I started out by saying women are the hardest to photograph. There, I said it. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop photographing them. So I put a link out there saying, come be brave, come get in front of my camera. And women just submitted themselves, or somebody may have said, hey, I told my friend about this. I think that she should do that. So it's probably time for me to put that out there again and get some new submissions. But yeah, that's kind of how that worked.
Nice.
Thanks. It just feels good to be creative for the sake of being creative, and to have positive energy flowing for the sake of having positive energy flowing.
Yeah. And what does wise leadership look like for you on a global level, on a world level? We have so much going on in our world.
Question, Donna.
You knew it was coming. Come on.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna take a drink here for a second.
You know, to name names or, but it's up to you. It's your call. But
I think that it is about being the kind of person that you want to see in the world. And we are in some really upside down, crazy times at the moment. And there's only so much that we each individually can control. We can vote. And as I think you know, I've recently joined the League of Women Voters, and I've been registering people to vote in person. And so I've learned that I can't control people. Not that I ever really tried, but I can't control how nasty they are, and I can't control what they think. And I know that for as right as I think I am, sorry, let me clarify, for as right as I believe that I am, the people that have opposing views for me believe they are equally right.
mm-hmm.
And I realize that it's kind of a game changer in your head as to what you are able to do or what you want to put your energy and efforts towards. So on a global scale, I have to put the kindness, I have to put the intelligence, I have to put the actions out there that I would like to see for the rest of the world. I have to model it for other people, and I have to follow other people's models that I think are good and kind and decent and in the best interest of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned that there are things that I just can't waste my time with. So I have to lead or act in a way that hopefully will encourage other people to follow me on their own, because I'm passionate about it and they see that and they want to follow and they want to get involved. Or there are other people that I've seen doing that. And I have a friend who has been knocking on doors in Wisconsin and registering voters in Wisconsin and poll watching in Wisconsin because it is a swing state. And really finally seeing somebody else take that step, I was like, all right, I'm going to do something more than just argue with people on Facebook. I not do too often, but I do want to say that when I do decide to engage with somebody in Facebook, I have very strong rules for myself that I'm not personally attacking people, that I'm not insulting, that I'm not calling names. And we may disagree, but let's do it on a higher level. Let's do it with intelligence and facts and data. And so I want to do that so that hopefully other people see it and model it that way. So I guess on a global scale, just putting out into the world what I'm really hoping we're going to get back. And that we're going to find kindness and humanity and decency and a way to work together and see some of the divisiveness go away when we have intelligent conversations. Because I have found that when I have one-on-one conversations on the side with somebody who on the surface it would appear that we disagree, you'd be surprised at how much common ground we have. And taking that time to have that human interaction and not just that faceless social media void where we all, go at it. Yeah. I think it's really important. So just being what I want to see in the world is, I guess, the best way that I can put that.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I think it can be easy to vilify the other side. And I think we've all done it before. And just those one-on-one conversations, those heart-to-hearts, where my good friend Perry always says, listen to understand. You're not listening to just formulate your attack, or you're really listening and trying to understand the other person. And I think you're right that there is a lot more common ground that we believe or that we're led to believe. And if I had to sum up, one thing about the wise leader, I would say, like, it all begins with you. And it's about, owning that leadership, clearing out your inner gunk that gets in the way of your leadership, and then living it. And it all starts with you. It's an accountability. It's raising the bar for yourself. And every time rising tide lifts all boats, right? If you raise the bar, other people start raising the bar too. And it works the other way, right? The more we lower the bar, that happens too. And it's like right now we need to start raising the bar again.
We do. And people look to their leaders to see what's acceptable and how to behave and what's okay.
Mhm.
And I've worked for various companies. And when I think back, I think, oh, that's how, all right, well, that person's doing that. Okay, that is how I have to do that. That was a really vague, not great sentence. Sorry.
No, I
You
got
look to your leaders to see what kind of behavior is acceptable. And if it's the lowest basis kind of behavior, I'm still not okay with it. But, people start to look and they think, oh, that's how I'm supposed to act. Leadership really does start from the top.
it does.
And
It does. And it trickles down. And that's why I work with leaders, because I feel like that's the place I can have the most impact.
Mhm.
I've said before, like my mission is to create 1 million conscious leaders in the world. And if I can do that, think about all the lives that I can impact. If I impact this leader and he impacts, 100 employees, there's all those people now that have been raised up, and a better world for all of us. And that's my desires to really truly change the world.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yes.
So on that note, I
We've
hope
been chatting for a long time, Donna.
I know that was not a 30-minute interview.
It was not. But it went by like that.
It did. I want to thank you so much for being here, and it was great conversation.
Thank you.
Of course, I want you all to run out and get the book because
Yes, absolutely.
that's how I'm going to reach 1 million people. That's a part of it. And my goal is really just to help and to transform lives. And
I think you will with this book. There's so much good life stuff in there that I think comes with life experience. Sometimes it comes with getting a little bit older. You generally don't see like 18-year-old leaders. I mean, there are those anomalies. But yeah, getting more comfortable in your skin and life lessons and looking at the people around you. And yeah, I just, like you said, I think it's good for women in general, not necessarily only people who have their own businesses or CEOs or anything like that. So there's so much good stuff. And I felt excited when I was reading it that there was so much that resonated with me and not a lot that scared me, that I thought, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. I think, oh yeah, that's how I feel. Oh yeah, I figured that out. Yes, that's right. And that was really validating for me, actually. I don't know, again, if I'd read your book when I was 25, that I would have had the same reaction. It would have been very intimidating. But I love how much of it resonated.
thank you. Yeah. And I wanted it to be really pragmatic. Like, this is what you do. You want to get here. This is the stuff that you can do. It's so important to me that it's not just knowledge, but that you have an experience.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for including me in your virtual book tour. This was really fun.
And everyone go visit Bari's website, Time Stops Photography, and please check her out on Instagram too, where you can see her amazing photos.
Thank you.
And an announcement that I have, since this is the last night of the virtual book tour, although we have the book launch party tomorrow, is that since these interviews have been so amazing and such a hit and so successful, I'm going to continue doing them once a week on Wednesdays at noon Central Time. Hopefully on Facebook Live, it will work. If not, we'll have to record. But I already have a lineup for the whole month of October. Lots of powerful, wonderful women from all over the country. And if I get my friend from South Africa, then it'll be all over the world. So,
very cool.
Yeah. So I just want to continue raising the bar for women, highlighting women and their strength and leadership, and reminding everybody of their wise leadership and how important wise leadership is.
Absolutely.
Whether, at home or out in the world.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Bari. You have a good night.
You too. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Bye, Donna.